Hello everybody, welcome back to ToxicTrent talks wrestling and answers your questions because I need more content to post on my YouTube. We actually have questions and I'm really excited to talk wrestling because I love talking wrestling and I love trying to help anyone trying to learn how to get into wrestling or learn about wrestling. So let's just get right into it. But the first question, Awesome Max asks a few questions. Let me go for the first one here. Any diet or exercise tips, either from personal experience or hearing from others? And do trainers give advice or lessons on how to get in shape? Yes, so they give you advice. You don't have to come in perfect tip-top shape. You don't have to be six-pack, yoked as hell, you know. I am not the greatest person to talk to about fitness. I am not in shape whatsoever. However, when I showed up, they told me how I can get better, how I can better myself, what diets I should use, stuff like that. If they're a good trainer, they will teach you not only how to train in the ring and wrestle in the ring, but how to show yourself off as a wrestler. Exercise-wise, before you show up in wrestling, lots of fucking cardio. Because you can run 2 miles, but nothing is gonna change the fact that in that ring, you'll be running, jumping, dodging, rolling, jumping over and over again, and you will be exhausted within the first 2 minutes. Cardio is key. Second question here, are there any good resources for finding out more about trainers, schools, reputation, or style based on name recognition? There's no real reference I use, basically just word of mouth. The moment you join your first wrestling school, you'll know the stories pretty early on of who to trust and who not to trust. But when you're first getting in there, there's no real way to know other than I use Reddit. I use Reddit to know a lot of my stuff. I have friends in the business now, so if you're ever curious, ask me. I can confirm or deny whether or not someone is legitimate or not. Sometimes depends on the person. So ask me. I'll ask around for you. Just be safe. That's the biggest thing. Do a lot of research. Be safe. Ask Reddit. Ask friends. Even go to a show and ask around, hey, who's the best trainer in town, that I could go to? And they'll usually tell you. If there's an event going on, I'm sure there's trainers in town as well. Another question, what are some common myths about wrestling school, or wrestling in general, that feels like you need to be debunked? The fact that ribbing is so, bad. I don't think I've really been ribbed other than the occasional, prank here and there. Nothing crazy. No one pulled a Randy Orton in my gym bag. No one has locked me out of the locker room and forced me to change with the fans, Nothing crazy like that happens. There's no hazing. There's nothing like that. It's very much a family. Very much we take care of each other. And there is high school drama, don't get me wrong. But for the most part, it's a lot of a family and not very much childish pranks going on like that. So that's the one myth that should be debunked, because it's not as bad as you think. Any financial advice? So first things first, don't go for customized gear. There are cheap options. They're not the greatest, don't get me wrong. If you want to order it 3 months in advance. I'd say 6 months in advance before you know you're going to debut. But there are some cheap options for gear. eLucha, High Spots. Don't trust High Spots as much, but eLucha, I've bought tights from eLucha before. It's I was 80 to $100 I want to say for a decent pair of tights that I used for a few shows before I got fully customized gear. So I'd say don't worry about fully customized gear for the first year. Don't worry about anything looking too polished. Look polished, don't get me wrong, but gear wise, don't make it look perfect out of the gate. Build up to it, just like streaming with me. I didn't have everything before. I worked up to it. That's the mindset you gotta have. Because you never know. You could have all the gear in the world, customize everything as ToxicTrent, and then realize, oh wait, I actually hate the gimmick of ToxicTrent. So you never know. You never know what might happen. Talking more about the financial side of things, be prepared to pay for travel a lot, because I don't get paid to travel. I basically pay to go to events at this point. But the first year, you will not get paid. You will be driving for 4 hours and you will not get paid. If anything, you might get $20. So you might be able to afford Wendy's right after the show and then drive 4 hours back home. So be prepared to pay for gas, for your car, for food, for all that jazz, because wrestling will not pay for that. Also, on that subject, what does pay for my food is merch, but don't get merch the first year. I learned that the hard way, and I still get roasted for that. So don't get merch the first year. After a while, get some merch. I have some options. If you're curious, I know some places to get some easy, cheap merch. Not cheap merch, just good merch for cheaper price. But just don't worry about the details like that until you are more established. You know? What are classes on creating a character, storytelling, creative stuff like that? So I've been to a few seminars, and basically it's less of like bumping and like training and more of like them just saying, hey, we're gonna pull out a hat, okay? And we're gonna pull out random names or random things, and whatever's in that, you're gonna have to do a promo on. And then they'll tell you how good your promo was. Like, they'll have a hat, pull out a piece of paper, and it'll say tomato. And you have to cut a promo on a tomato or about a tomato. Either way, the tomato has to be the main subject of that promo. They'll tell you how good you did. They'll tell you how bad you did. It varies from person to person. So I can't really, talk about everyone else's like classes like that. But the experience I've had with like promo class, it's usually something like that. Storytelling is something that you will learn as you progress. The more you train, the more you realize why certain people do certain things in the ring. The more you train, the more you watch wrestling, and then the more you watch like the little details like Shawn Michaels does in a certain match, the more you realize, oh, he did this move because he was setting up for a future of this move. That's how storytelling comes into play. Character-wise, good luck. A lot of people show up with a character in mind, and 80% of the time, that character does not work out for them, or they end up hating that character and scrapping it completely. So be open to suggestions, be open for gimmick changes, and be open to like just take an idea and run with it. Because some of the best and most entertaining people in wrestling are the ones who get a gimmick thrown at them and they make diamonds out of shit. Those are the best and most entertaining people, and that's how you know you have a good storyteller on your hands. Max, that was a lot of questions. I'm going to move on from your questions to another question. Wrestle memes for life. Hello, friend. What are the biggest hurdles you've encountered in your career? My size, definitely. Because I'm not the tallest person, and I'm not the most athletic person, if you will. But I definitely had the heart, and I think I overcame that just by like proving to them that I did want this in my life. I really wanted this to be a thing, and I really wanted to be a wrestler. And once I had the chance to show people what I could actually do, that's when they took me seriously. Even still, a lot of my friends just don't understand or care or believe that I could actually do this, even though I've been doing this for 5 years and kind of know what I'm doing to an extent. Sometimes, depends on the day, of course. What advice do you have for people who are thinking about quitting or have serious doubts about the first step? So I've actually quit before. I actually have quit. And it was because I didn't think I could do it, and I was in a depressive state. I just couldn't handle the stress of wrestling. But watching wrestling over I think it was a year that I stopped training. But watching wrestling, I realized that like I wanted to do it as opposed to watch it anymore. And it kind of just drugged me back in. But for any advice for people who might be thinking about quitting, just do not quit. Because there's going to be a moment where you think to yourself that you want to quit. But just think to yourself, do you want to go work a normal job and flip burgers or sell clothes or do whatever you're doing right now? Or do you want to do that on the side while wrestling on the weekends and entertaining people and hearing the crowd, even if it's 15 to 12 to 20 people to 1,000 people? Do you want them to cheer you on while you're about to get the big win? Or do you want to get bitched at and complained at by the Karen who's down the street complaining that you forgot their pickles? If you already have the thought in your mind that you want to be a wrestler, you know what the right answer is. You know what the answer is, and you know you can't quit. For anyone who wants to be a wrestler and doesn't know if they should start or if they should take the first step, at least show up, at least watch a training seminar, see how it looks, see how it sounds, smell the smells, see the sights, get an idea of what you want. Because it's a leap of faith. That's all it really is. It's a single leap of faith. And if you have the heart and you have the passion, it's probably the best leap of faith you will ever take. I'm still working out the kinks of recording and talking to no one and talking to a camera and talking to my ring light and burning my eyes out. So there will be more videos like this. Please, please, please comment other questions as well, because I really enjoy answering your questions. Let me know you like it. Throw a like, share it with your friends. If your friend wants to wrestle or thinks about wrestling or likes wrestling in general, please let them know about this video. Let them ask questions. Maybe it's not even about training, just wrestling in general. My stories. I have a lot of things. I would love to share it with you. But my name is ToxicTrent. I hope I helped someone. I hope I answered some questions. If not, ask them again. Let me clarify a little bit. Be on the lookout for more YouTube content, because I'm trying. I'll tell you that right now. I'm fucking trying to upload more often. If you like what you see, please like and subscribe. I'd love to have you. And I'd love to hit 200 subscribers. That's a goal I have right now. So let's get there, shall we? Thank you guys so much for watching. Appreciate you guys. Peace.